Good morning. I love telling y'all good morning. It doesn't matter what time it is at your house. It's morning in my heart. Good morning. Anasa Troutman here with another episode of the Big We Podcast. Welcome back. Hello. How you doing? My cup is filled. I'm ready to drink water for the next 30 minutes. How's everybody doing? We are almost made it, y'all. It's almost the end of the year. I'm so excited. I just want to go somewhere and lay down under a blanket because I've been doing too much for the whole year. It's time for resting. It's time for family time. And you know what that means? It's time for Family Fantasy Extravaganza. Ha! For all of you newbies to the Big We Podcast, I know that you have no idea what Family Fantasy Extravaganza is, and I'm so excited to tell you about it. It's my favorite. That's a lie. It's not my favorite holiday because my first favorite holiday is my birthday, and my second favorite holiday is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. This is my third favorite holiday. And I invented it. How about that? Did you know you can invent a holiday just because it's not on the calendar and nobody else celebrates it but your family doesn't mean you can't invent a holiday, because I'm here to tell you I did it and it's exciting. So, Family Fantasy Extravaganza comes but once a year, and it happens to come on the fourth Thursday of November. That might also be the same day as a different holiday that a lot of people celebrate called Thanksgiving. Let's see. I have a niece and I have a nephew. And my niece and nephew are, wow, they might be 14 and 9 now. Is that true? Jesus Christ, how did that happen? They're grown, basically. But when they were little, I decided one year that I did not want my niece and nephew celebrating Thanksgiving because they keep you know what happened? My nephew came home talking about the Pilgrims and the Indians. And I was like, are they still telling y'all that in school? This is ridiculous. They're still telling this story that, oh, the Pilgrims showed up on the boat, the Nina Pinta and the Santa Maria. And then the Indians said, we're so happy that you're here. Thank you for coming over. Here is some corn and welcome to our home. They're still telling that story, y'all, in school today. And I was like, I'm not having this. Not on my watch. We're not doing that, because you know why? Because love requires us to tell the truth. And the culture of love means you don't lie to your grade schoolers about the truth of the history of our nation and the relationship between white immigrants and indigenous people who have been here for thousands of years. We're not going to tell that story anymore. So I was trying to figure out, how are we going to honor the traditions that have been developed in our family across generations around this holiday that they call Thanksgiving, but take out all the parts of it that really dishonor our ancestors and dishonor the indigenous people on this land? So, so I decided that we were going to invent a brand new holiday. And I decided to call it Family Fantasy Extravaganza. I wanted to call it Family Fantasy Extravaganza Eleganza because of my influence of RuPaul in my life. And my family was like, now you're taking it too far. You can't call it that. What are we going to call it? So I said, what if we just take off Eleganza and we'll just call it Family Fantasy Extravaganza? And everybody agreed. So here is what we do, y'all. It's so exciting. I can't wait to tell you. So every year, when we first started, we didn't do this part, but we were just doing it at home. But now, every year for the past 5 years, we've been celebrating Family Fantasy Extravaganza probably for 6 or 7 years at this point. For the past 4 or 5 years, we've been going to the cabin in the woods. So my family lives in South Georgia. We're not from there, but my sister, my mom, my niece and nephew, my brother-in-law, everybody lives in South Georgia. So we rent a cabin at a state park, and we all pack up and we go to the state park for 5 days from Tuesday to Sunday. Is that 6 days? I don't know. You know what I'm saying. And we plan a whole week of activities at the state park. Now, this is the important part. On Thursday, when everybody else is having Thanksgiving dinner, we are having Family Fantasy Extravaganza dinner. You know, we eat turkey, macaroni and cheese, greens, green beans, dressing, sweet potato pie, all the stuff that y'all eat. We do not deny ourselves of the feast. We just deny ourselves of the crappy story of why the feast is happening. And this is my favorite part. Because we're all about imagination and we're all about recreating the world that we want to live in, we cosplay at dinner. So every year we have a theme, and then you have to come to dinner in a costume that mirrors the theme, because we're trying to teach the children that they have the power to create the world, that their imaginations are the most powerful things, and it is our stories of the future that will help us get clear about the stories of the past. So I think the first year was just like, do whatever you want. So it was a lot of people there, because not only did my family can't come, my father was still alive at the time, my best friends came, their kids came. So it was like Randall's friends from work came. So oh, you know what? We were at a cabin. I told a lie. We have been going to the cabin ever since the first year. Wow. So it was come as you are, and everybody, it was like 20 people. Everybody had on a different costume. I, of course, dressed like Princess Leia, because why wouldn't I? I think my sister and Randall were elves. And Nicole was Uhura. I forgot everybody else's costume, but everybody came dressed up. And like the ceremony is, when it's time for dinner, everybody presents their costume and comes out and shows who they are. And then every year we decided that we would have a theme. Instead of just coming as a costume, we would have a different theme. So we have had superheroes that year. Everybody was like traditional superheroes. I was what was her name? Regina King's character in the show with the happy face with the bullet in the head. What is her? Queen Knight, I think her name was. I'll look it up. My father was Black Panther. The kids were like Ladybug and Black Cat. I forgot the Black Cat's name, but you know what I'm talking about. And my sister was my sister and Randall were Storm and Wolverine. It was my mother's chance to come out. And do you know, she came out, she said, introducing Harriet Tubman, the most amazing superhero in the history of America. And we all were just like, wow, Mom, you're not wrong. Welcome Harriet Tubman to the superhero dinner. It was great. It was so great. Then one year we did, we had colors. Last year was colors? No, last year was decades. And so everybody chose a different decade and had to dress. I had the 70s. And luckily, I had just been to the Beyoncé concert, so I happened to have a silver lame jumpsuit. I bought myself an Afro wig, so that was amazing. The year before that was colors, and everybody had to dress in one color, and they had to cook all their food contributions in the same color. So I had blue. I made blue mashed potatoes and blue drinks and blue desserts and blue everything. Well, this year's theme has got me a little stumped, and I'm very upset about it. Because, well, first let me tell you. So after we have the dinner on Thursday, but then we have like campfire and s'mores, and we go walking on a nature hike, and then we have a seafood boil night, and we play games. It's so fun, y'all, and it is really a beautiful way for our family to come together in a way that feels like we're honoring the truth of the past and the possibility of the future, and really nurturing the kids in our family to teach them about how to be able to honor your traditions, but do them in a way that also honors other people's truth and reality. And so I'm really, really, really proud of Family Fantasy Extravaganza. When we first started Family Fantasy Extravaganza, we had a website, because people, after the first year that we did it, people were calling and like writing into the website and onto our social media like, I want my family to do this next year. How do we do that? So we actually have like a toolkit to be able to do Family Fantasy Extravaganza. It's not up right now, but we have a website for Family Fantasy Extravaganza. Maybe we'll put it back up this year. And I like used to get calls from people who are like, "Can you teach us how to do Family Fantasy Extravaganza?" Because everybody wants a delicious meal on the fourth Thursday of the November, but nobody wants to pretend like it was a happy celebration dinner between the white people who came on the independent century and the people who have been living here for thousands of years. That is not what happened. And we are not going to be out here lying to our kids, but we're going to have some turkey and some dressing. So let me get back to this year. So let me tell y'all, this year we have started to have like a vote every year. At the last day of Family Fantasy Extravaganza on Sunday morning before we leave the cabin, we have a vote. Everybody puts their things in for next year the night before, and then we have to have a vote. Well, this year, the vote was for the theme for 2024 to be medieval times. Which I'm Game of Thrones. I'm all the things. I'm ready. I'm ready. And I immediately had decided this is so stupid. I immediately decided I'm coming to dinner in 2024 in a suit of armor. Who does that? Who decides that they're going to find a suit of armor, figure out how to get it on an airplane, and then put it on and walk into dinner with a whole iron outfit on? Who does that? This girl. I do that. Do you think I found a suit of armor that I could put on and take on an airplane? I have not. So you know what that means? I don't have an outfit. What am I going to do? I invented the damn holiday and I don't have a costume. I'm freaking out. Listen, I don't want to be a queen. I don't want to be a damsel. I want to be a warrior. I want to be a medieval warrior. I want to walk in with a sword with blood dripping off of it. I want a chainmail outfit. I want armor. I want pads. I want leather skirts. I want the whole thing. But do you know how difficult it is to find an outfit like that on the internet in 2024? And to find it in a woman's plus size, this is an adventure I was not planning on. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, foil, can we make some foil outfits? I don't know what I'm gonna do, y'all. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I do know that I'm not about to walk up in there without an outfit because I am going to win Family Fantasy Extravaganza this year. I just don't know how. I keep thinking about Brienne of Tarth, and I'm like, what would Brienne of Tarth wear to Family Fantasy Extravaganza? Because she was a knight, and she had a knight's outfit, and it was not armor. It was not like that metal stuff, cling, cling, cling. She didn't have that. She had on like some leather and stuff. I need to go watch some old Game of Thrones episodes and I need to figure out what I'm going to wear because I'm not walking in there with some old stinking queen. You know what I thought about? Do y'all remember? Ooh, I could be Daenerys. Well, that's not medieval times. That's fantasy. See, this is what I'm saying. It's so confusing. Remember that time that lady, had to walk down the street with her haircut and they was like, shame, because she was naked and ashamed. I thought about doing that. I'm like, can I just wear a wig and just come into Family Fantasy Extravaganza naked with a wig on? And then my sister was like, no, you cannot. No, you cannot. Nice try, sister. No, you cannot. So I'm back at square one. I got to figure it out quick though, because I can't show up to the house with no outfit. So thank you for listening to me talk about Family Fantasy Extravaganza. It is like one of my creations that I'm most proud of. I hope that decades after I am dead, that our family, let me tell you something, the first Thanksgiving that my niece and nephew have children and they introduce Family Fantasy Extravaganza to their children, I'm going to feel like my work here is done. This is exciting. I've changed the trajectory of our family and our holiday celebrations. Cheers to us. Amazing. Generational transformation. Woo! Our kids in our family will never be over here talking about no pilgrims. Okay. All right. And that's the goal. So if you want to learn how to do Family Fantasy Extravaganza, you want me to send you our schedule or the themes that we've had for the past several years or some ideas for some new themes, send me a text message and I will tell you all about it. Our text message is 901-676-7372. I would be so happy. My goal in life is to have Family Fantasy Extravaganza be the new national holiday because why are we still celebrating Thanksgiving? I don't know. You can have your whole family there. You can do whatever you want. You can fight with your uncle at the table. You can accidentally stab him and get blood on the turkey. You can do all the things that you would normally do at Thanksgiving without acting like that little raggedy story they told us in school was true. You can have all the things. You can even go buy a Christmas tree the next day. We always do that. Before we get on the plane, before I come home, we go and buy a Christmas tree. If we have time, we decorate it. We do all the things you do. We just do it with some integrity. I just call all y'all no integrity. I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant. What I meant was, you know what I meant. Stop being out here lying about history. We got to be able to tell the truth, y'all. We got to tell the truth. If we want for people to tell the truth about Black history, then we have to also be insistent that they tell the truth about white history, about Indigenous people's history, about Asian history, about Latino history. Like, we can't be out here single truthing it without telling everybody's truth. Now, come on. Okay, I'm off my okay. Y'all know I get hyped when I talk about stuff like this. And Family Fantasy Extravaganza is my baby, so I'm gonna get hyped when I talk about that. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. But call me, text me, because you know you want to do. You know you want your family to be doing this. You know you want your kids to know the truth about history, don't you? Great. All right, let's get into this pop 3. Woo! Ba, 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 ba. I haven't done that in so many episodes. It's been like 3 or 4 episodes since I said ba, 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 ba. So it feels so good to come back to it. All right. Let's see. Pop 3 this week. All right. I never do this, but we have 3 movies. No, that's not true. We have 1 movie and 2 TV shows. Nope. 2 movies and 1 TV show. Okay. The first movie is my new favorite movie, and I want you to watch it, okay? It's called Patrice the Movie. It's on HBO, I think. I think it's on HBO. So if you have Max, you can stream it. It's called Patrice the Movie, and the tagline is the next phase of marriage equality. And it's about this couple, Patrice and Gary, and they are disabled and they are deeply in love. They are the most adorable couple I've ever seen in my life. When I tell you these 2 people love each other and they are not afraid to show it and tell everybody and tell each other, they don't have no problem. It is so beautiful and so heartwarming and so inspiring. And it really is about this stigma that disabled folks have, and they're both have physical disabled, they're both physically disabled and mentally disabled. So like they have intellectual challenges, learning challenges. And it is this conversation that they're having in this film about the humanity of disabled people and their right to fall in love and be families with each other, right? And it is like one of the things I think about a lot. Because, of course, as the big we are always thinking about being and building beloved community. We're thinking about creating a culture of love. We're thinking about removing barriers for people to be able to be in community with each other across race and class and difference. And one of the things, like, I realized a couple years ago that I had 2 learning edges around difference, and one was gender, and I had to like really take myself through like lessons about how to talk about gender, how to understand gender, how to think about pronouns, how to think about the spectrum of gender. Went through all of that because I'm like, I'm not about to be out here like misgendering people and acting crazy and making people feel like they don't belong in the room because I don't know how to talk about their gender. So like that was my first blind spot. My second blind spot was disability. And just being able to take time to learn about the ways that people who have who are disabled are stigmatized and shunned and othered, and basic human things like falling in love, that people assume that they don't have that in their life, that they don't have the kinds of human capacity and emotional capacity to fall in love and be married and have a family and build relationship and be like all the things that you are when you fall in love. It was just such a beautiful revelation to remember, to always remind myself about people's humanity and that we all want the same thing. Every single person, no matter what your age or your race or your color or your ability or your gender or your sexuality or your whatever, we all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. We all want to be loved and acknowledged. And a lot of us want to be in love. A lot of us want a partner and want to have somebody to go home and tell all your day to, and tell your problems and tell the things you're excited about, and snuggle up on the couch and watch movies and drink out of big wee cups. Ting. Who doesn't want that? So I feel like it's a really important movie for us to watch, because I feel like those of us who do not have disabled people in our lives are not thinking about fully the humanity of folks who are living in bodies that are different than ours. And this is a fantastic movie to start to explore that conversation for yourself. Again, it's called Patrice the Movie. You are going to be rooting for Patrice and Gary like you've never rooted before, okay? Just listen to what I'm trying to tell you. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. I love it. And I love it. Yes. So our next movie listen, I love this thing, y'all. It's called Mr. Loverman. And I read this book. It's based on a book by Bernadine. I think, what's her name? I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Bernadine Evaristo. I read this book probably like 5 years ago. I didn't read the book. Y'all know I didn't read this book. I listened to it though, because I don't read books anymore. Because I don't have time. I fall asleep. I'm so tired. I just read one page and I fall asleep. But audiobooks are my jam, as you know. And so I listened to this book, Mr. Loverman, like maybe 5 years ago. And I loved it so much because, again, it was a book that helped me explore the humanity of some people who are different than me. Now, this book, I love it so much. This book is so well written. Bernadine, you put your foot in this book, okay? This book is about a elderly man. He's like in his 70s into 80, right? This is an elderly man, Caribbean man. I believe that this book is set in Jamaica. And the man is a widow. His wife has died. He is like managing his future. He's like trying to deal with his kids and his family and his friends. And people are like, you need to get back out there in the world. And it turns out that he is queer. And his best friend, am I telling the whole tea out? I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Stop if you're going to watch it. Too late. So his best friend of like 50 years. They have been in love this whole time. They had wives and families and jobs and whole things. And they would be sneaking out to the side because they were both queer and they were scared to tell people. You see what I'm saying? And this story, it like does the same thing for me that the Patrice and Gary story does, because, you know, people just like, even if you are a person, first of all, people would think that the thing that we need to really explore here is this idea of queer love. But y'all know that ain't nothing to me. Everybody should have love in their life. You want to marry somebody in your same gender? Do that. Be happy. Do that. Go and do. I will come to your wedding and throw rice. No, we're not throwing rice anymore. It's bad for the environment. Now we throw seeds so the birds can eat them and not choke and die. Right? I will come to your wedding and throw seeds. Yes. But the thing about this book that made me be like, damn, I never even thought about that, is the fact that these two men were in their 80s and they were like, no, we deserve love. We deserve to be free. We deserve to tell the truth about who we are to our kids and our families and our friends. And we deserve to be able to have whatever life we have left living like we want to live. And I swear, we just do not be thinking like that when we talk about our elders. We just like put them on a shelf and we act like They are, they don't need love, relationship. They don't need sex. Let me tell y'all something. The highest growing population of HIV and AIDS right now is the old people in the not in the funeral home. Jesus Lord help me. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Elders who are in the, what do you call them things? Where you go when you can't walk by yourself? The nursing home. That's what you call it. Because these elders are out here getting it in. Getting it in. You know why? Because your desire for connection and for sex and for touching and for connection and love does not go away when you turn 65. And we forget that. And we can't do that, y'all. We cannot do that. We need to honor the fact that folks, no matter how old you are, still crave for connection and love and sex. Okay? Okay. Old people out here having sex. Okay? Just so you know. If you don't think your grandmother is getting it in, think again. You don't think your grandpa's not getting it in? Honey. Okay? He might be ready to just be free. Okay? Okay. Great. All right. Now, this last pop 3, y'all, I struggled with whether or not I was going to talk about it. And I decided to because, I want to tell, okay. There's this movie on Hulu. I watched it totally randomly by accident. I was like really tired. I had not had a day off in a long time. I laid in the bed and I was like, I want to watch a movie. And I just randomly picked a thumbnail with some Black people on it. And I'm like, let's just see what this is. This movie is on Hulu, which is so weird because I never go on Hulu. I don't even know why I was on there. But the movie is called She Taught Love. I don't even know where to start. Let me start by saying I actually really loved the movie. It was very sweet. It was very tender. It was very emotional, and I enjoyed it. And also, it was about this very high-powered, all the way together, independent Black woman who fell in love with this dude who did not have his life together. And I was like, can we please stop? I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of relationships on TV where the man is totally not together and then he like expects this Black woman to get him together. Come on. It's so tired. It's so tired. But you know what? Whatever. I watched the movie. It was good. I was mad at him half the time because he would keep saying and doing dumb stuff and acting crazy and being emotionally inept and not being able to share his feelings and God, just so annoying. So annoying. Can we just have a different trope, please, in romance? Please. 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 But it was good. It was good. Please don't not hear me say it was not good. It was actually very good. It was very well made. The cinematography was gorgeous. The writing was gorgeous. It was, a new story I had never heard before, kinda, and then at the same time, a story that I hear all the time, and it was getting on my nerves. But I watched it, and I'm happy I watched it. Now, what I wanna tell you is that this movie star Arsema Thomas. Y'all know who that is? I'm gonna tell you the guy too. The guy's name was Daryl Brigg Gibson, who was getting on my nerves. It's not his fault. I'm sure he's a lovely man. But his character was on my nerves. But Arsema Thomas was spectacular in this movie. Arsema Thomas is the woman who, for all you Bridgerton fans out there, she was the woman who played the young Lady Danbury in Queen Charlotte. This is so funny. I'm like, Queen Charlotte with the wigs. You remember her? Remember Queen Charlotte? The young version of Queen Charlotte. So Arsema Thomas is that actress, and she stars in this actress. And as I was researching for today, I found some stuff out about her that I think you should know. Number one, she has a TED Talk, and her TED Talk is about the World Bank and donor aid dependency. She's apparently very smart. It's a great TED Talk. And also, she has her own women's health app. She's Nigerian, and she founded a women's health app called InKey. And the women's health app tracks women's cycles and also offers discreet subscriptions for delivery of female condoms to fight HIV and AIDS. What? Arsima, you out here shaving people's lives? And tell her talking about the World Bank. She's a genius, and I love her, and she's such a great actress, and she's so beautiful, and she's so smart and wonderful. I just want her to be in a movie without an annoying boyfriend. Okay? All right. Great. We love it. We love you, Arsima. Go and see She Taught Love on Hulu. Yeah, that's all I want to say about that. I'm like, y'all, that man was getting on my nerves so bad. I just couldn't take it. I just wanted to throw my thing at the TV. All right. What's coming next? Coming soon, y'all. What's coming soon? Coming soon. I need to write a coming soon song so I can sing it right now. I can be like, good morning at the beginning and then go, ba 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 ba, and pop through. And then I could be like, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. I don't like that. We're going to write a song tomorrow, okay? Next time I come back, I promise we're going to have a coming soon song. But don't hold me to it because I don't promise. But I love you anyway. So, coming soon. We're going to do a coming soon in 2 parts, okay? So stay to the end because I'm going to tell you about something exciting, but then I'm going to tell you about something important, okay? So, exciting. The Piano Lesson is coming to Netflix. Now, y'all know the big we loves us some August Wilson plays. And I'm sure you do too. It's August Wilson. So, y'all remember that Denzel had that deal to I think he was supposed to produce 6 movies, 6 August Wilson. It might have been 3. I might be being dramatic, but he was got a contract to produce several August Wilson films. I don't know if this is connected to that, but Denzel Washington's son, Malcolm, is directing this film version of The Piano Lesson for Netflix. It comes out November 22nd. We're all going to be right there on the first day, aren't we, watching it? Because not only is Malcolm directing it, but it stars Samuel L. Jackson and then Malcolm's brother, John David Washington, with his fine acting self. And then Danielle Brooks. Y'all know we love Danielle Brooks from Color Purple and from Orange is the New Black. Skylar Elise Smith. And your girl, Erica Badu, got a role. She got an acting job, y'all. Come on, Erica. Y'all know acting was Erica's first love. Singing was a backup plan. So she's like, I'm excited to see her on the screen acting in The Piano Lesson. I'm like, come on, you better get your chops together, Erica. Let's go. So that's November 22nd. We're all going to be there with our popcorn. I can't eat popcorn. I'll have popcorn stuff because these braces do not do popcorn. Let me tell y'all something. When I get these braces off, the first thing I'm doing is going to the movie theater and I don't even have to see a movie. I just want some popcorn. Anyway, so we're going to watch that, The Piano Lesson on Netflix. Now, this is the real whole point of this whole podcast, is to say this right here. Today, if you're listening to this podcast on the day that it comes out, it is election day. Do you hear me? It's election day. It's election day. It's the most important day in your last 4 years. It's election day. Did you vote yet? I already voted. If this is election day, I voted 2 weeks ago because I believe in early voting. And I actually really love early voting. It's jamming. You know why? Because the last time I did an early vote, I was in line for 2 hours. And I wasn't about to get out the line, but I sure didn't want to be there. But when I go to early vote, I go at odd times to odd places and I can just walk in and out. So I've already voted and exercised my civic duty. If you have not voted, I'm trying so hard to stay nonpartisan. If you have not voted, I would like you to stop right now, whatever you're doing, and go get in the line. We have 6 seasons worth of podcasts to keep you company while you're in the line. And I'm happy to tell you some other podcasts and some other audiobooks to listen to so you can stay your butt in the line until you get to vote. Okay? Now, people keep saying that this is the most important election in the history of elections. And I don't think that, right? I understand and believe dearly that we are in a really tentative and tense and dangerous moment in the history of democracy in America. And I also think that Um, you know what? I'm not even gonna say all that. What I will say, what I will say is that I went to the Freedom Awards a few weeks ago, and there was a woman there who got honored with a Freedom Award whose name is Sherrilyn Ifill. Sherrilyn Ifill is one of the directors over at the NAACP. I think it's like the Defense Fund, or she's an attorney. She's like a civil rights attorney, and she's the director counsel emeritus for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. And when I tell you this woman got up on that stage and laid everybody out, and what she said that I want to share with you, which is so important, is that she said everybody is out here acting like democracy is in peril. But what I want to tell you is that we have never had a true democracy. And that is the moment that we're in, is to be able to actually move our nation towards true democracy. Let's just begin with the fact that when voting was happening in the first place, everybody couldn't vote. And it was not that long ago that women got the right to vote. It was not that long before that Black people got the right to vote. And now with so much voter suppression and so much don't even get me started on the Electoral College and how pissed off I am about that. In fact, we still have that. Do y'all know the Electoral College was created by people who were in charge because they did not believe that regular everyday people had what it took, the intellect or the experience to actually have one person, one vote. They were like, well, just in case they vote for the right person, for the wrong person, let us have electoral college so that we can actually choose the right person. That's not democracy, y'all. Okay? Gerrymandering is not democracy. You know what I'm saying? Jim Crow is not democracy. I went to EJI, the Legacy Museum in Alabama, a few weeks before that, and they have these papers that show the test that you had to take when the first time that Black people were able to vote, and they had to go to the polls and answer these ridiculous questions. Literally, it would be like a jar of jelly beans, and you would have to be like, how many jelly beans are in this jar? If you know the right answer, you can vote. And then you would get to not take the test if your grandfather had voted, but if your grandfather was enslaved, and of course you had not, so 0 Black people voted. So I'm just saying, her point, Sherilyn's point, is that we actually have quite a long way to go before we're in a true democracy. And there are many people, and I'm not just talking about candidates. I'm talking about other electeds. I'm talking about folks on the news. I'm talking about organizers. I'm talking about some of those guys who run think tanks and policy institutes. There are so many people in our nation who actually are not interested in democracy. And I believe that it is time for us to be able to trust ourselves and trust each other, to be able to have the kinds of conversations and actions required for a democracy to be real. And when you think about your vote today, and you think about your vote next year, and you think about your vote the year after that for midterms and all that, because also, I want to remind you that voting happens more than just every 4 years. I have our this is actually our second election this year in Tennessee. And so, number one, voting is your minimum participation in democracy. Right? So at the very least, you should be voting. But there's so many other things that we need to be doing to be able to be a real democracy, right? Number one, we need to be going to city council meetings. We need to be going to county council. We need to be going and holding our electeds official. We need to be, Sherrilyn said she gave us a phone number. I'm going to tell you the phone number right now because I put it in my phone. And she said, I'm going to give you this phone number. And I want you to call this number once a quarter. And I want you to tell your state rep what it is that you feel, what it is that you need, and what it is that you don't like that they're doing. The number, are you ready? Are you ready? Get ready, go get a pen. Put me on pause, go get a pen. Ready? The number is 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. That is a number that is called My Rep Operator. You call that number and you tell them where you live, and they will put you directly in touch with the office of your state rep. And you can call that person and say, that thing you did last week, it sucked so bad and you are a terrible rep and you need to get it together. Or you can call and say, that thing you did yesterday, I loved it so much. Thank you. As a member of your district, I'm grateful for your support and for your representation. And like, y'all, can you please read something? Can you please read? Can you please watch more than one news channel? Can you please be educated and informed about the issues that are affecting you? There are so many of us, because we have been historically like shut out of the vote. The voting numbers are so low. Like, people are like, my vote doesn't matter. It does matter. And it specifically matters because you got to be doing more than voting, right? If you are doing more than voting, your vote would matter more, but also your vote matters because it's yours to have. And if you're not participating in the democracy, then we cannot transform the democracy. How are we going to get rid of the Electoral College if you won't even vote? How are we going to make sure that we have legislators and Supreme Court judges and presidents and mayors and dog catchers and school board members who actually love the people who live in our country, cities and states and counties? This whole situation that we talk about on the Big We all the time about love as a core value and building a culture of love and building beloved community, that also goes for people who are elected officials. I do not want to elect someone whose number one goal is to make sure that they are going to be on top. I want to vote for somebody who is going to behave out of love for the people who live in our country, who is going to behave out of love to the children who live in our cities. If your kids cannot have a decent meal or new books or technology in their classrooms because you're making a different choice based on dollars, you do not need to be in charge. You have to find a way. If you want to do things to be able to have see, I'm trying really hard, y'all. I'm trying really hard to stay nonpartisan. I can do it because I believe in these issues. If you do not believe in arts in schools and making sure that your children's imaginations are being cultivated, that is not loving. If you are not going to make sure that the elders in our community are being taken care of, that is not loving. If you are not going to make sure that we have a just and equitable justice system, that is not loving. If you're going to make sure that a certain group of people can have and do and be whatever they want and another group of people can't, that is not loving. Where, when, and how are we going to stand up for our democracy and say, these are the kind of people that we want to be running our country in partnership with us as people who live here and have lived here, some of us for 2 days and some of us for generations, because we're all here together. So that being said, go vote. Vote for who you know I want you to. If you're going to vote for somebody else, don't vote. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Go vote. Democracy. Woo! Democracy. All right, y'all. We're going to have a new president next time you hear from me. We're going to talk about it. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves. I have so many people to thank, but I can't remember right now because I'm very serious about this democracy conversation. Go and vote. Okay. In closing, that's all I have to say about that. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with a new president and it's not going to be a new reality. Y'all know, see, we're not even going to talk about this right now. We will talk about it on the next episode. Please, if you want to stay up with the Big We, you know where to find us at the Big We on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, or you can follow me, Anasa Troutman, at Anasa Troutman on Instagram. Don't go to those other places, just go to Instagram. And, you can text me. Sign up for text messages, sign up for notifications at 901-676-7372. Or you can just send me a message and tell me you love me and you can tell me to go vote. And I'll tell you I did already. 901-676-7372. Shout out to this incredible production team. Walter over at Sunstorm, Tim over at Boom Cane, our fearless leader, Renisha Mays, who keeps us all together and on time. Music by Ish Music, graphics by Martheus Wade. This has been a love offering from the Big We family. We will see you out in the Weverse. Massive love to my Big We team. from the House of Love. This is Anasa Troutman. We'll see you next time.